Welcome to Inside the Scary Mind of a Writer, and I'm Adina Lev, the writer. This is week 19 of my continuing blog series of getting my name out and letting people know what it's like inside my scary mind. This has been a particularly unproductive week. It's been unproductive as an actual writer because I have not opened up that dang book at all. I even got the changes from one of my editors and haven't put that in there. I've been doing the Good Samaritan thing. My next door neighbors, they are in their late 70s, early 80s. They've decided that they're going to fold up being homeowners in the back outback area, the way back, and they're going to move to a retirement community. And I'm 80 something, I probably will do the same thing. But I said, hey, let me help you guys get organized because they were becoming very overwhelmed. And I can see why. Not only did they have their things that they've been holding on to for years, memories of things that they've been holding on to for years, but also their elderly relatives who have passed, who had nobody, and they collected their things. Now, if you're 80 and your Uncle Henry died 20 years ago and he had been in World War II, so you know how old Uncle Henry had been, you've got a lot of stuff from when Henry collected things at the turn of the century, the last century, the 1900s. And Henry had stuff from his relatives who had lived in Kentucky back in the 1800s. So they had a lot of things to go through. And so I was helping them get organized. You have three piles: the pile to go to the new house, the pile to donate to GCF, and the pile to get to the auction so that the antique dealers could pick them through and take the stuff off their hands. It's been very enlightening. It really has to see the things that people back in the 1800s made. Back then, you threw nothing out, and even into the 1900s, you kept things, you reused things, you found a way to make it work. Unlike today's society where we just throw everything away, go out and buy a new one, it really was very historical. Not historical as in you're signing things, a washboard. Now put your mind, this is where being the writer comes in. Look at the washboard and imagine being 8 months pregnant and scrubbing your family's clothes in that on that washboard in a wash tub. Wow. And you had to go and get the water, bring it to the house if you weren't lucky enough to have a well with a pump. And Dan was telling me his grandmother, that's what she had to do. She had 8 kids, seven, 6 or 7 have made her to adulthood, but she had 8 kids, 8 times being pregnant, washing clothes on that washboard. And then Henry's mother's ironing board from the 30s still had it. It was collecting dust, but ironing clothes on that thing. And this is before they had electricity and all the houses or electric irons. So he still had some of the old cast iron blocks of metal that you would iron your shirts with. So many things. And it was very cool to listen to the stories that went with all this. I have no old people in my family. My oldest person is my mother, and we haven't talked in years. That's a long story. And my father, who I definitely don't talk to, he's never really part of our lives. Those are my oldest living relatives. I have no old people to talk to. I have no old people to collect stories from, find out what their life experiences were, not just the big stuff going to worse, but the little stuff, the day to day stuff. And all I can do is relive through my imagination from their stories. And it's really cool. But at the same time, I'm just an observer. I'm sitting there filling in the bare bones of the story with my writer's mind. Like I said, the 8 month pregnant woman doing the laundry on a washboard and hanging it up and still trying to keep track of her kids. That's a lot. And then try to put that into a story. Oh, scary mind minute. We're passing by a hay truck. And I've talked about this before, how you blow it up. What if you use a body in there? Can you imagine all these hay trucks and these garbage trucks you see, all these piles in it? That'd be a good place to hide a body. I didn't think of that until I was passing by and this truck, and it smelled like, really, the pine straw had gone bad. it started to mold or something in there. It was rough. But I was thinking maybe it's a body in there, and they don't want us to know, or maybe there's a dead cat in there. That's actually what got started. It smelled like something dead was coming out of there, and I'm thinking, oh, that's gross. And then I think, ooh, what if there's a body in there? What if there's a body in there? See, the sick mind kicks in, and I start looking at other vehicles and saying, maybe there's dead bodies everywhere. It doesn't help. I watch a YouTube channel, it's criminally listed. They're talking about these two guys who, over the course of, I think it was 15 years, killed 26 people, tortured, killed entire families for the fun of it. So, no matter how twisted my stories get, it doesn't compare to reality. So I'm going to go back to helping my neighbors. And oh, before I forget, no, not another royalty check. My sister-in-law Judy, who I've referenced before, lives in Israel. She's coming this week. Now Judy has not been to the States in almost 5 years. So there's so many things she's never been to a Hobby Lobby. And in truth, I just went to a Hobby Lobby last week, and I'm telling you, I love knitting. I love crafting. There's a surprise, right? And I walk into Hobby Lobby and the skies opened up. I hear a chorus of angels singing and it's beautiful. I was in there for 2 hours. No lie, no exaggeration. Judy is just as bad as I am with this stuff. And she's going to be the same way. So I'm so pumped. We get to go to Hobby Lobby. We get to go to the outlet malls. We're going to go to a couple historical places here in North Carolina. She is a history buff bigger than I am. So we are going to have the time of our lives. I'm so excited about this. So that is this week's installment for Inside the Scary Mind of a Writer. And I'm Adina Lev, the writer. If you like this, thumbs up. Tell me why. Share it. If you didn't like it, tell me why. Thumbs down. Share it. Go on to Amazon. I should put a link on there, shouldn't I? But nah, get lost in the Amazon vortex, just like the YouTube vortex. Put in Adina Lev and order my book, download my book, recommend my book, review my books. And I will see you all next time. I'll talk to the camera next time. Have a good one, y'all.